Alright, so we should have some sound now, so let us know how it sounds if you're actually watching, and we will begin to entertain you.
Share it, Paul.
What are you buying?
Yeah, what are you buying, Paul?
I was just looking at...
What new guns were you looking at? I know you've been looking at a lot of different cockers and stuff this week. So what are you looking at?
Yeah, what's on your mind to buy it, Paul?
I was thinking of buying... Someone listed a Twister F5
Yeah.
on one of their groups for like 1,600 or something.
Yeah.
I've always wanted a Twister, so I was looking to buy that, but...
You gotta get a new school Twister?
You said you wanted
old school.
a Cold Fusion before that.
Yeah, I wanted a Cold Fusion, but Bosch...
You just want to spend your hard-earned cash on some kind of paintball gun.
Yeah.
Which is not out of the ordinary for any of us.
But yeah, I got some extra money.
Well, you wanted the Cold Fusion, and even though I like the milling on the Cold Fusion, I feel like it's heavy. And none of them really... I mean, I've seen a couple really nice Cold Fusions, but a lot of them seem to have like hinge frames and mismatching parts, and they just don't look all that good. But a really nicely matched Cold Fusion is gorgeous, but I feel like it's like the A&S cockers, where it looks really nice, but it can be heavy.
The GX3s and
However,
7s or whatever they went up to.
Yeah, that being said, the Cold Fusion definitely seems to be reasonable in price lately, as everything else has been exploding.
It's true.
But
I kind of want one of those new free flows that are coming out the Millennium, the limited 20 ones that they're releasing.
well, I heard that they actually accidentally sold 23.
22. Oh, yeah, 23.
But yeah.
They're like oversold.
Oh, oversold.
So do you think in that kind of situation where they sell 23, but they said they would sell 20, do you think they should go back and cancel the 3 extra?
Nah, I think they should just fill it because everyone wants money, and I'm pretty sure they do too.
Yeah, but what about the guys who bought the new gun thinking it would be a 1 of 20, now it's a 1 of 23? Is that enough?
You know, honestly, I think those guys bought it because they really wanted a Fulcrum. They didn't really care that there was only 20 coming out.
You don't think a lot of these guys are buying cockers and other old paintball stuff because they're looking at it as an investment?
I think old paintball stuff, yeah, but like the newer stuff coming out, I think people are getting it because, you know, we've always been talking about like when we were younger, we couldn't afford these guns. So now that we're older, we have jobs, we got some money, we're buying everything up.
I don't know. I would agree with you on the majority of the guys, you know, who they want that 1 or 2 guns that they wanted when they were kids and now they got the money. But then, you know, there are at least 10 plus guys who are just buying every single cocker, rare or not, that comes up, and they're just kind of hoarding it.
There's guys like that.
I mean, I think if you're looking at returns, considering that, you know, if paintball's going to be around for, you know, until we die, 60 years, 80 years, and so on, all of those guns are going to be really vintage, really sought after. And, I mean, considering banks, you know, if you're getting any kind of CD or any kind of good return on investment, it's like 4% a year. These guns, some of them have been exploding 100% in a year. You got to think long term, they'll probably get you more than banks. So I can see how it would be an investment, even on ones that you're like, well, that's not really a steal. Now, I don't know, maybe it could explode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, there's no way that you know, for example, like the Twisters, people are paying. What were they new? Like $1,200? I don't know how much they were new.
I don't know either. It was like 1,000 something.
The older ones or the newer
The
ones?
newer ones.
I think it was 1,200,
Like
1,300.
Non-anode, I think 1,200, 1,300.
Yeah, and I mean now they're considerably more, but
Yeah, dude, there's people selling for like 2,500. Like,
and
what?
maybe they can get that now, but it can't have that same. You know, it's not going to continue to increase like that. And
True, I think a lot of the ones that are at least currently super expensive. I don't know how much you're gonna see long term, but you gotta assume that if paintball's running 80 years, that even your standard 01 WGP cocker could be $400, $500, because I mean the pool of paintball players is just gonna keep growing and growing. Those guns aren't exactly gonna get remade, at least in the same styles. So I don't know. I can see it. So I think you got to really be in the right place and right time to get the gun you want now for a good price, because there's guys not only who just want to shoot it like you do, but we're going to resell.
I mean, dude, if I got a gun and, like, the people who want to resell these guns are probably never going to use it in a real game, which is the sad part.
Some of those people will.
Some, but most want to, like, keep it pristine and get, like, maximum profit back, so... And if they do play it, they're not going to play like they normally do, like hard.
I mean, maybe for the twisters, but I think for everything else, it's...
Dude, if I got that twister, I'd play with it like every day, every chance I could.
Well, I think that's the good thing about most of the older cockers and mags is they do have some use out of them, so you can go play with your investment as it's making you money. It's not like... If you get a couple little dings and scratches on it, I don't think it's gonna hurt the value really, unless you're starting with the $2,000 gun. But I mean, these guns were, a lot of them were even expensive back in the day. Yeah. Like I was talking to you about my brother and his first gun. He was telling me that he was choosing between an automag, which was $650 to $7 at the time in 1991, or a Predator cocker.
How much was that in 1991?
He said it was $850, and he said that the guy at the counter was saying that the autococker was more ball on ball, but the automag was a tank, and the cocker needed to be maintenance more and tuned more. And so my brother's like, all right, get the workhorse.
Your brother's like, I go hard, I paintball hard.
Exactly. He dives hard. He wanted it just to work, and it did work. But yeah, the mag's now worth like $150, and the Predator's $1,600, $1,700. Cool.
Crazy.
Rob is asking, when are we going to get Bud on here? Been talking with Bud this week. Obviously, you know he's a super busy man, but we're hoping in the next month. Yeah, let's see. John Saywell says as far as, you know, stuff going up, same thing goes for firearms, cars, boats, other limited production items. So
yeah, I mean, you're correct. And I would not, if you're like thinking about like maximum profit, future profit, I would collect actual firearms, not paintball guns, because the amount like actual firearms go up in price is freaking crazy in California.
But so I know nothing about actual firearms. Is it the same as paintball, where you have a maker like WGP and some of his items are rarer, or?
No, so yeah, exactly. They have those rare like let's just say handgun, okay? They have a rare handgun, but in California, and I'm pretty sure in others.
What makes the handgun rare?
Like they might make like a special edition, like 20th edition, or they might make like a competition model that's only limited to like 200. You know, you only have 200 of those made.
Got it.
Or even just like a normal competition. Handgun, they're not going to make a lot of it. They're going to make a lot of the base model, you know. So but in California, and I'm pretty sure in other states, gun manufacturers have to pay a license to the DOJ so they could sell a specific brand. And I don't know if they do that for paintball gun markers too. Maybe one of you guys know.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, so say that you guys all know.
Basically, it makes it rarer in California.
So once that license expires, they can't sell that model here anymore. So that model is, whoever had it before is just grandfathered in, and those just keep on going up and up. And like if you had shit from like way back, dude, it's insane. Because when I was looking into World War II pistols in college, while we were in college, like 2009, you could have bought like a all matching Luger for like $900. Now a Luger's all matching, probably like anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 depending on the condition.
So what makes it rarer now? I mean, obviously there's more people looking.
I think it's just more people
gun.
hoarding them up now. Yeah.
So why are people hoarding now more? Because you gotta assume that the guns, at least pistols, there have always been collector's items. There's always been ones that, you know, people will assume will appreciate in a few years. But with paintball guns, I guess for a long time it was hard to guess which guns were going to long-term see a value increase. Mm-hmm. Because as we've seen it, the guns come out, they have a certain amount of value. You know, within a few years, they drop down super low. And in the past, at least with paintball, they definitely all haven't seen that rise back up. Because you have the Cockers and Mags come out roughly the same time. Right now, Cockers, crazy hot. Mags aren't as hot. So Mags are staying low. Cockers are exploding. But then, what about other guns? Are Intimidators going to see the same rise in the future? Are Angels? No, I'm good. There's no real reason for those to go up unless there's, you know, right now they're having these mechanical leagues come back. So people are having fun with the Cockers, some Mags, some other old mechanical guns. But is it only Cockers that are going to long-term see this rise?
I mean, you never
Is it going to be any vintage gun?
I think just Cockers are just everyone's favorite mechanical marker right now, so... Yeah, and I don't know, maybe in the future people will just start hoarding up Angels, and Angels will go up in price even more.
Well, Daniel Vizani was mentioning right here that Angels are going up a bit too. So, and we do have little increases, like even the Intimidators after dropping super low have a very slight increase right now. Angels were going up.
I mean, I feel like
Automags are definitely not having the same rise as Cockers right now, but Automags are going back up. I mean, you even have basic older school guns that I've seen having rises. F2 Illustrators, VM68s, PGPs, they're all slightly going back up in price. So are all of these guns going to keep seeing that same rise as there's more collectors, more players, just more visibility for paintball as a whole? So the question is, I guess, since Cockers are already scarce and you got to pay big money to...
Scarce?
Scarce, whatever. I feel like scarce is a word.
Scarce is not a word unless
Scarce
you're talking about like multiple scars. Then you would probably call them scarce.
Oh, hater, do you like the look of my scarce right here?
Yeah, or if you're wearing a scarf to hide your scars, those are probably also scarce.
Yeah, so Rob says don't see them doing as well as Cockers because they can be converted to a pump and electro.
I wanted to add in that I think that Intimidators and Angels have also seen close to the same price increase. I mean, you don't see, like, people were not paying very... I mean, I guess for a stock Intimidator, like what's the first Intimidator model called, Paul?
The Classic.
Yeah, the Classic. Like, nobody's paying any money for those. They're still like $100. They won't even sell for $100. But
a good one working will go for $150, but yeah, 100-ish.
But what's like a Ripper?
It depends which Ripper. The Ripper 3 and a Ripper 1 are both... I mean, a Ripper 1 is $1,000.
But why? I mean, that's...
You can get Ripper 1s, like, you know...
Probably like $500,
No
right?
way.
Yeah, 500.
Yeah, 500
That
to
would
600.
go quick.
But see, that's like a crazy price increase because I don't think people were paying that for Rippers like 2 years ago. 2 years ago, they were
The
paying
Ripper
that much?
1s were always rare, and they always got a lot more. But, like, the Ripper 2s, for a while you could find a Ripper 2 for like $200.
And what are they at now?
4 to
Yeah, they went up a little bit.
A little bit.
And
Really nice older Timmies have seen a little, I don't know, 20% increase, 25%. But the stock average ones, like a 2K2 Timmy, $125. An Alias, $150, $175.
That's pretty cheap for all of those.
It seems
but,
like any limited editions are way more limited nowadays.
I think that's the thing about autocockers is there's so many limited editions, and most Intimidators were like pretty like mass produced in pretty high quantities. And it's the same thing with Angels. Like the Angels that like Chris Van Horn has been buying over the last few years, like now people are going crazy for those. And when he started buying them, it didn't seem like people were. You know, like, yeah, some
But it's
people
like,
still
why
buy them.
weren't they as sought after? Because an Adrenaline
I'm sure there's
Angel,
something in here, right?
an Adrenaline Angel a Cobra Angel. Those things have always been rare, but for a while there was just no
demand.
market.
No demand for
No
them.
one cared about them.
Yeah,
Right?
for sure. So we're rebooting our computer. Paul's in charge of comments right now.
Yeah. So
I think he's
No,
just
but
spacing
I was
out.
about to say though, the Ripper 3, a lot of people like Ripper 3s too because
What kind of quantity was made on the Ripper 3? Like, I don't know anything about.
I think like under 500 probably.
Really? What about Ripper 2s? What do you think the quantity was on those? What
I
do you
think Ripper 2s are way more.
What about Ripper 1s? What do you think the quantity was on those?
I don't know.
I would think there's less than 100 Ripper.
What? No.
I think so.
I don't think that's true. I mean, that was like
I
a
think that's
major
true.
intimidator
Definitely
model.
less than 200 Ripper 1s.
The classic was the major thing. You look at actual Ripper 1s, at least. Well, I don't know exact numbers, but when I'm thinking about Ripper 1s that I've seen in the wild, probably over all the years, probably haven't seen more than 15 ever for sale. 20 maybe.
I've seen a lot because I'm always searching for Rippers because that's like one of my favorite guns. But I had a Bob Long Ironman Ripper 1 when I was a kid, and it had the.
Is that the one with the jewel on the side that says Iron Man? Or
No,
what's...
No, it's a Ripper 1, but it was a dark blue to white to light blue fade, I think.
So 3-color instead of 2-color.
3 colorway, and it came with the frame that the GZ came with, not the clamshell. I don't know what ugly ass frame that was, but I bought that on eBay for $1,200.
Oh my gosh.
Jeez.
Yeah, back in the days, and that was my favorite gun. It shot so well. I don't know whose it was. I think it's 1 of 12, probably less because some were destroyed. But
Somebody had in there just like, I'm gonna destroy this.
well, like pro players kind of
Yeah.
are rough. With
They
their
wreck
guns.
it.
Hmm.
Yeah, so like some of them are probably like you can't even.
Wreck-It
sell them.
Ralph.
Okay, so
So wait, I'm gonna go grab some magazines from...
So I
year?
regret selling that and going back to the Ripper 3.
Wait, what year is the Ripper 1?
I don't know.
So like if it's gonna be a magazine...
too.
It probably came out when like the classic came out.
So should I look at 01 magazines?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Rob is saying here that, supply and demand, also the older players can't afford the markers they wanted in the 80s and 90s. So I guess my question is, the kids getting into the game now, right? Let's say you've been in the game a few years. You didn't grow up with
You guys
the
don't want
with the
Cockers.
Timmies, the Cockers, the Angels. My question is, let's say in 20 years from now, when these kids can afford the guns, are they going to look back fondly like, oh man, I always wanted that LV 1.1. I need an LV 1.1.
No.
Or do they feel the same way about the modern guns as we do about the guns that were modern when we started playing? I think it's totally different.
Totally different.
Because you had guns coming out that represented a unique advantage to play. It was lighter, it had eyes, or, it had a special trigger frame or a certain bolt, or your favorite team was using it. Do kids have the same favorite teams nowadays? Not really.
Yeah.
Do the different guns really call to people?
I mean, there's some hardcore people who just like collect new school paintball stuff too now, like jerseys.
Like which
Just
new
peop-
school stuff?
So if you go in like the Facebook jersey group, some people straight up just write, I want jerseys that are 2016 or 2015 plus
Right.
and X-Ball jerseys. And there's kids who are just like straight up X-Ball. And I guess my roots, yeah, I did play scenario for like maybe a month, and then I dove straight into speedball. So I'm kind of like those guys. I never really had.
But
like,
those kids are getting X-Ball jerseys from when X-Ball just started, and it's like, this is the X-Ball vintage, the OG X-Ball, right? But are kids in 20 years going to be like, I want a 2018 X-Ball jersey? It's not the same.
I think they're gonna go back to like the roots, like mechanical too. They're gonna be like, I never experienced that. I want to experience that.
Yeah, Rob's
That's
saying.
what happened to me.
Yeah, Rob's saying, well, all the markers now kind of look the same. So, I mean, think about it back in the day. You could go for a Cocker or a Mag. They look totally different. They operated totally different. And you know what? Depending on your style of play, one was better for you and the other was better for somebody else. You could really choose something to suit your style. And now it's like all the guns shoot amazingly. So it's just like, how much money do you want to spend?
You know, I also want to say like, like Bocci's looking through the magazines trying to find a picture of Ricky One. I'm so pissed that you guys remember the website PB City and PB Reviews?
I remember PB Review.
I'm so pissed that website is down because that literally had like every single gun and like the history, like the price, like when it came out, like.
That's how all websites are, though. You know, especially at least forums, because they're not as easily indexable. So you know, any of those sites can go down and the information's gone. RIP. Here we go. Here's the Mastermind. I thought these were older than that.
What year is that?
This is 2001, I think.
What magazine is that?
APG. I just grabbed a stack of APGs.
Ted is saying, I used to love shooting people 20 times in the head with a Bob Long Ripper. Said, sorry, it's a Bob Long. Yeah, some of those guns back in the day ripped real hard. You had a Timmy with a critical trigger on there, just a little bit of bounce.
Can you just take a picture of this like spider
for
phone
sure,
here for me?
Ted,
I want to send it to Kevin
Yeah,
because we were looking for.
Ted had that shit on D-Bounce 1.
Wait till we have like no. Yeah, go ahead.
I think it was Daniel who was asking if any of us have seen a clone predator in the wild yet.
What is that?
I think he's saying that people were making fake predators to sell.
Fake old ones?
Yeah.
Or Inceptions or old ones?
What were you asking about? New ones or old ones? What fake products have you seen back out nowadays? I want to know.
Paul was just looking at a fake Lotus.
Yeah, from everybody watching, have you seen, you know, now that a Sandana jersey's $500, right? Are you seeing fake Sandana gear? Is there any? What does it look like? How do you know that it's fake? Have you seen people putting out new carnivores? I heard something about new carnivores being made. Who's making them? How do you know the difference? What about the fake Predator? What does it look like?
The fake Predator. That's Connor. Connor is definitely a real Predator, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
Child Predator.
No, dude. He's just a Predator in general.
So John here is saying that, you know, modern guns are mass-produced.
Give us some last names.
Earlier, that was Saywell. Earlier, Cockers, Carters, Palmers were more limited. What about, I mean, the Timmys were all pretty mass-produced, and you can buy whatever Timmy you want, just people, I guess, bought, you know, the species less often than you would just buy a typical classic or 2K2. But, I don't know, there were a lot of Cockers out there, which is why I guess the standard, you know, 02, 03, 04 Cockers aren't really seeing the same explosion because they're pretty common now.
Well, the thing that's exciting to me, and probably the same with most people, is with a lot of autocockers, you know, so many paintball companies were making different variations of autocockers and autococker parts, that there's still a lot of like a wide array of like unidentifiable autocockers. Like, for example,
like
the red one that
mine.
you have, you know, and you don't know any of the history on that. So,
Yeah.
you know, to me,
Where
that's
is that
something
even?
that's really exciting. Here's some cold fusions for you, Paul.
Is that next to you?
I don't know
The
where
red
it
one?
is. RIP, it's in my, hey, don't lose my subscription tag.
Paul, where's the red Cocker?
Man,
You just had it. It's behind the computer.
I want to. You think I can subscribe?
No. I
Oh,
don't think
issues for 30. Dude, I'm so down. I'll subscribe for like 10 years straight. That's only $330 for 120 issues of
Wow, you're good at math.
Action Pursuit.
I wonder
games.
why.
I'm great at
It's because you have on your Sandana headband. That's why. I'm not seeing any Ripper Intimidators in here.
But yeah, see, like these
I don't
Cold
remember
Fusions came with the
the-
sliders.
Rippers even advertised.
Really? For some reason, I just thought they were always like a mass-produced.
What kind of sliders is Bocci?
Is it an A&S? Oh, that's the plastic frame, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
you have a lot of Cocker companies making parts for Cockers now, which maybe is helping people get back in. Do you think that would help if someone started making Timmy parts again? I don't necessarily think so, because there's already so many Timmy parts.
I mean, here's the Iron Man in this magazine. Bob Long's Iron Man, but it doesn't show what they're actually shooting.
So, Hopefully.
Oh shit, battery.
Battery change.
Battery change time.
Alright guys, hang on for a second. The screen's gonna go blank momentarily as Dan changes the battery, but...
What are people saying? Do we have any comments, Paul?
Rodney Martin says there are cockers garage milled like predators. So, seeing lots of them with similar cuts. Jack Wada says the carterized cockers were good-looking guns and unique in themselves.
Are we back on, Paul?
Yes.
Rod says, remember working in the tech room at WGP and hearing that there's a not something company making parts. So I guess parts that were supposed to be WGP, but
Oh, he might be
someone else
talking
is
about
making them.
the AIM, you know, whatever that actual company was.
Yeah.
Because they started out making parts for WGP and then they just started.
WGP Angel Air.
Yeah, that's what Benji has on his.
$578.80.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Was how much?
$578 for Angel Air. $600.
For an air system.
Are there
for
any
sure.
tanks remotely that expensive nowadays?
No. I think the most expensive one's like $230, right?
I remember all of those custom adjustable tanks being $400, $500, $600. The Conquest, the Nitro Duck, those were
Air
insane.
Americas.
Do you even have any tanks that are adjustable now, like those?
Well, yeah, the Ninja tanks are adjustable with shims.
You can. That's not the same. You can take the reg off and add more shims. That's not the same as having just a screw to increase the pressure of your tank.
There probably is some. I don't know. I've just used the same.
Does anybody know of a modern tank company putting out regulators that are adjustable? Because if not, there's a huge gap in the market, especially with all these people fine-tuning. Let's see. Daniel Jakowitz says he doesn't know if there's anyone cloning twisters, but a possible example would be Free Flow making new guns with the classic body style.
Well, that's what
While
we were.
that company they outsourced could put out more bodies on eBay.
Well, that's what we were just saying. Is the Paul was just looking at this, what he thought was a free flow on eBay. What is it? Oh yeah, there you go.
There's
This
a
is
whole
the sick one
article
right
on
here.
Yeah,
Fusions.
there's a gun that looks like a Free Flow Lotus on eBay for $400, but it's
He actually
actually
messaged me.
a knockoff body.
Yeah.
It's not listed on eBay. I messaged him regarding his rhythm, and he said, no, that gun doesn't have a buy now, but I have a not. He said it was a Lotus, but it's.
You should send him a message and going, why, that's not a Lotus. Why are you calling it a Lotus?
No, just tell him. Just say, hey, I think that's actually the Chinese one, or Taiwanese, or whatever you would say. Yeah, I'm not seeing the rippers in here, and I'm wasting too much time looking for it. So
Here.
kind of
You
over
It could have
it.
been like 2000.
Dan, why don't
No, we're over
give me a
it.
few magazines? Why don't you show off some of your new TNC bodies and I'll look for that. Here's your Cobra. So, I know we have a lot of cocker lovers watching.
Look, I don't really want to talk about these. I want to talk about some other ones. Is the GoPro on, Paul? I guess it doesn't really need to be on, but okay.
So Dan went to TNC and along with some more interviews,
yeah,
he got some new cool bodies.
Couple cool other bodies. So this is I think this is a Spanky Cobra body, and it has the removable tubes inserted in, and the top tube on it is actually at the wrong angle. So your lug adjustment hole on the top tube doesn't line up correctly, and so Chris Ogaz is the guy who did the machining for Jackal and he did some of Jackal's machining, but he did Spanky and he did the FBM bodies and he did some for Mountain View Paintball, but he was like, yeah, on this one I got glued wrong. So you can see the lug hole actually comes in at an angle like this instead of like this. So to fix that, you'd have to, I don't know, loosen up this glue, which probably would require just heat. I'm not really sure how it's a chrome plated body, so I'm not sure how the chrome would stand up on it, but it could probably be fixed. I probably won't fix it.
I played with this guy in this magazine.
What guy is it?
Ray Mulad, Filipino
A
dude.
new lot.
Computer's just like completely bogus.
All right, so Dan's gonna show off some more cocker bodies, but in the meantime, I wanted to know what you guys felt were the best guns to use off CO2. we are playing with the SoCal stock group at Combat Paintball Park tomorrow. And we are playing in a CO2 only game. So everyone's bringing out their cockers. I'm bringing out my mag because I think it's going to be hot and the CO2 isn't going to have such a big effect. But, you know, what were your favorite CO2 guns? Should I be pulling the Shocker 4x4 off the wall? Using that?
Do you have one on your
Should
wall?
I use an Impulse?
Does it work? The Shocker?
So the Shocker, I tried once off CO2 and it shot well. And then I tried once off compressed air and it was leaking so incredibly badly. So I can bring it and see if it's the CO2 that makes it work.
I don't think it would be the CO2 that would make it work. I think it just doesn't work.
I think it worked off CO2.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I'm thinking that.
I can use the Impulse, but
Let's see what kind of comments we got.
I hate how Impulses shoot.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Impulses.
Even when they shot like well, it just wasn't.
Ronnie Martin says
Good.
yes on the 4x4. I've always liked how the Shockers, the old school brick Shockers, have worked.
Okay, well, I'll bring it. I'll need to bring out a new 9-volt battery, but we'll see. So this,
Andy says you're not going to want to hear it, but the Shocker Sport 97 to 2002, which were the shoeboxes, were killer on CO2.
were like killers on CO2, or they killed CO2? Because that's what I've heard.
I think both. They killed it. They killed it with CO2, and they were killers. Jack Wada says any Carter. I think Jack only shoots CO2.
Jake says Nova with the dicer beads?
Yeah, I think it's,
what are those?
I think it's dicer. They're like kind of diffuser beads. I think they just filled up the volume chamber with those. There you go, right there. Isn't that it?
No, but this is actually really weird, Paul.
That's a dragon.
Yeah, but what's wrong? What's different about it? Look at the trigger frame.
Oh, that's
It's like a GZ frame.
yeah, that's the ugly frame that I was talking
So
about.
this must be one of the like first dragons.
I forgot what frame
Period.
you called that.
I mean, this is the frame on here. I don't know if you guys can tell, but this is the frame that would have been stock on the GZ Intimidator. So the first gen, what is it? The first, gen 2K2 frames. But I've never seen a dragon with one of these frames in the wild. So, Dan, this magazine is probably going to be too late for your first gen Ripper.
There's a whole bunch of magazines right there. You can grab another. Okay, so a couple more comments. People are commenting Max Flow. Are you looking for the year?
Is this?
Look right
What
here.
month?
2002. So people are commenting. Dan Gibson says Max Flow, Nitro Duck. Those are older, so they don't have the adjustable outputs like we were talking about. Daniel from Killshot Set Custom says I paid $400 for my 3000 Nitro Duck new. Sounds like you got a good deal, Daniel. I think those were usually more, right? Is that the Mega Reg or the other style? Daniel J. Switz says even Powerhouse uses a replaceable piston, but again, that's not adjustable without disassembly. Phil Shannon says Air America. Can't remember the name of the company. I mean, I think he's talking about Immortal Air, but I don't think Immortal Air has any that are adjustable.
So
as is. I think everything has to be disassembled.
So which ones were adjustable on the Air America line? You had the
Well,
Raptor.
most of them were. I mean, the Raptor, Apocalypse, Armageddon. Those were all. No, the Conquest is
that's
Mac Dev. Those were all externally adjustable. Because like on the Apocalypse, it's essentially the same. Close to the same internals as an automag regulator, so you'd adjust it in the same way, and it's the same with the Raptor too.
So would it have any effect on cockers nowadays? Because people like fine tuning. Once you have a tuned cocker with your adjustable vertical regulator, does an adjustable tank do anything to help further regulate and fine tune that cocker?
I mean, that would be a better question for Tim, but I think that now everyone just trusts their inline reg. I mean, people trust their inline reg back then too, so I don't know,
Oh, look at this. Here's an ad
Spider
for the
Cup.
01 Spider Cup, where if your team won, you got 5 Mitsubishi Eclipse Spiders.
So Rodney Martin says a 68 CI bottle filled with 40 ounces of CO2 for the 4x4. So Rodney, because it's a CO2 only game that we're going to tomorrow, we could take a CO2 tank and we could fill it with some HPA and use it on any of our guns. But obviously that's a bad idea, but just joking around. So Jake says the dicer beads added surface area to change the CO2 from liquid to gas before entering the dump chamber. And I guess that would make sense because your dicer beads are going to all be one temperature, and if your liquid hits them, I guess that would, you know, make it go from gas or from a liquid to a gas. Daniel says Evil Omen. What is that? What does the Evil Omen have to do with anything? Can you even shoot the evil? Like, how did the Evil Omens do on CO2?
Evil Omen is the PM7, right?
Did it become the PM7?
It's like the same exact thing. It was.
What
Yeah.
the hell are you talking about?
Well, the Evil Omen was from Evil, which was PMI, so I don't know how it would have gone to die because it would have been keys.
It's a completely different system.
Whoa, wait, what? Wait, what?
I think you're talking nuts, Paul.
Wait, what? It's quote of the night right there. Wait, what?
I was like, here, let's go over, we got the June 2001 Action Pursuit Games catalog.
Okay.
Gonna go on right now and look at some different prices on guns, alright? So we got the A&S Gen X Cocker, $770.
Sorry, I was thinking about the Evil Minion.
Oh,
Yes.
The Evil Minion. I don't know anything about the Evil Minion. So Daniel J. Switz says, I found an adjustable regulator. He posted a link and it's a Nitro Duck Mega Reg. So the Nitro Duck Mega Reg isn't made anymore. You know, it's an old reg. Daniel from Killshot Customs can probably tell us exactly what year they stopped using them because he loves those and he has them on all his
Show me that reg.
It's right here. The Mega Regulator. So it's not a. I mean, it might be in
pretty
stock.
sure I'm selling one of those
Well,
currently.
probably sell it to Daniel. But this
I don't know if I posted it
Nitro
yet.
Duck isn't making these anymore, so it's not a currently produced regulator, but it's definitely a good find, and someone should scoop up that deal. $80 for a Mega Reg. I don't know if that's a good deal or not. It probably doesn't come with the tank. If it does come with the tank, it's out of date. I think this is actually pre-owned. Oh no, it says. I don't know. I'm not sure if this is pre-owned or not, but it's not currently produced anymore. Dan Gibson says, I'll take it if he doesn't. I don't know what he's talking about.
There's a
Okay.
guy shooting a Dragoon.
Autococker?
Yeah.
Is it Trini?
No.
So anyone who's just joining, we're just looking through various magazines and just bullshitting. You're not going to get a lot of substance from us today, but let's talk about another autococker. So here we have a Jeff Orr custom autococker. And
Dan will do a fact and then I'll do a price out of this catalog.
what do you mean? Give me an example. Give me like a...
Smart Parts Shocker 4x4, $584.85.
Okay, so Jeff Orr custom reverse gills autococker, 1996 most likely, with serial number stamped inside the back block. It's actually a mini cocker, and it has the BOA powder coated frame. It's a cut guard, but they actually sent the frame off to be powder coated. What's my price in from Scanline?
WDP Angel Special Edition, $1,121.85.
Irrelevant.
There you
Irrelevant.
go.
So yeah, this is a pretty sick one. I think I bought this. I didn't buy this off eBay, but I saw it on eBay and I missed it, and then someone else bought it and they sold it on Custom Cockers and I bought it there. But yeah, it's a P block, has a WGP style P block, and look at that, it has like a square hole cut in the bolt. But yeah, this is a Jeff Orr body.
So
That's a
that's
sweet
the
gun.
precursor.
This one, it is a sweet one.
It,
Feel
you know,
the trigger on that
it's got
too, Paul.
Predator
Do
style
you feel that trigger?
Yeah.
milling on
Nice.
there.
Well, it's reverse.
It's
skills.
kind of weird because it has a double trigger shoot frame, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's a cut guard, and yeah, it has a double trigger shoe.
Smooth.
Yeah, really smooth. And look on the interior of the back block, and you can see
Is that the same reg?
that is a Mega Reg for sure. I think so. Yeah.
Is that anybody ever used a Mega
But
reg?
this needs the tank. Like you can't screw any reg onto there. You have to have the tank, which
Specifically that same.
yeah. So if you looked at the link that was sent to us,
Okay.
Daniel says that Nitro Duck Mega Reg looks brand new. He's getting pretty excited. Okay. Here is a Brazilian semi-automatic, and this was purchased.
You know it's a Brazilian because it's shaved down in just the right way.
Yeah, something like that. So this is a really cool Brazilian gun that I have seen pictures of one other before, and it's the Speedmaster, and it's made by a company named Thorsten, something like that. I don't know how many of these they made, probably under 100. I think the number that I heard before was 30, but who knows if that's correct. Now, the unique thing about this is it is essentially an NW Spitfire that has a semi-automatic conversion kit, basically front block adapted to the front. And Sergey bought this at, I believe, one of the Masters events in the mid-90s. And he thought, hey, that's pretty cool. I'm going to buy that, and then I'm going to make a semi-automatic conversion for the NW Spitfire. He never got around to making the semi-automatic conversion, but he did have this in his attic, and he sold it to me. And it is pretty neat. So you can see we have a LP, a low-pressure regulator in the front block right here. We have a switch right here. Your trigger linkage is this rod that ties into...
I like the shroud on it. Like, it's a pretty clean looking marker.
Yeah, the switch is actually right here. And when you look at the front of it, it actually reminds me of a Blazer switch, but I don't think it functions the same way with the cups. But you can see the trigger actuating arm is right here. Has your RAM built in right here. So the 3 openings on the front of the shroud are the low pressure regulator, the switch, and the RAM. And then your RAM pushes your bolt back right here. So it's just a wild gun. And I took it apart before, and I recorded a video taking it apart, and of course I never edited the video, which is a reoccurring theme, which is why we live stream, because we don't have to edit videos. But yeah, it's pretty neat. And I don't think we've ever really talked about that on the stream before. So.
We should shoot that at the field.
Yeah, we should, except for
CO2?
It'll leak. It'll just leak everywhere.
Bummer. We have, at least in this magazine, there's an 8-page spread on the EMAG.
What year and month is that magazine?
This is June 2001 Action Pursuit Games.
Read us some comments, Paul.
And there's all these pictures of the guy shooting side to side, and he's like shooting left-handed, or out the left side with his right hand. They're like, look how low his profile is, and I'm just like seeing the massive loader on the side that's just gonna get blasted.
His chicken wing, right? Because basically with that setup, he automatically has a chicken wing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like an upside down
chicken wing.
Except
for to conceal his chicken wing, he's rotating his whole body so his chicken wing is tucked in. He can't.
But he's doing it
this.
without a break in balls.
Yeah, exactly. A continuous stream of balls just running into his mouth.
He's shooting almost upside down
into his warp feeder. What are some comments, Paul? What do we got?
What about a comment from Ted Ott?
Yeah, what does Ted Martinez say?
He says, so I haven't watched the shows the last couple of months, but it seems like this show just focuses on Dan and Benji's eBay and Craigslist finds, and they're bragging about it.
Well, I haven't talked about any Craigslist or eBay finds, Ted, so
I'm pretty sure
don't know what he's talking about.
I'm pretty sure, anyways, that we started this whole show with that intention. Just to show off our old crap.
Daniel Vizani says, Dan, do you have any more pics of threat front block? Not sure what that means. Oh, pictures of that front block?
That front block.
Which one specifically? The Thorsten Speedmaster? I can take one if you would like to see one. Let's see.
Yeah, I can't find it.
You know what?
Anywhere.
I keep reading the Facebook comments, but...
There's YouTube.
Yeah, I should be looking at the actual full screen.
Adoy.
Because then I could actually see what everyone is saying.
He said yes.
And I just clicked on it last week's video now, so that's not helpful.
So, I know that we're still a few months out, but I've seen the heat picking up on the Bay Area Classic.
Yeah.
So, who's playing that? I know a lot of you guys watching right now are playing it, so I want to know what team you're playing with, what gun you're going to be shooting, who are the favorites, who's going to go 0-8.
There's like 100 YouTube comments that I missed, all of them. So let's just run through.
They're all from Ted.
Yeah, and it's all Ted. Ted says Bob Long for life.
Bob Long is a cool guy.
Okay. Andy says most production batch sizes are like 200 to 300, but companies usually offer private label models in runs of like 50 to 100. So if a GAT reached 500 quantity, then that's quite a lot. So he's probably referencing the Ripper 1. The Ripper 1.
Which I really think it would be 100. I just haven't seen many out there, period.
He doesn't know for sure, but he says most production batch sizes are like 200 to 300. If companies offered private label models and runs, but companies offered private label models in runs of 50 to 100. So, you know, it sounds like he's saying, you know, it could be 50 to could be up to 300. I would say probably the higher end of that.
Yeah.
So we've actually heard a little bit recently that paint has been graduating to a larger size.
Getting its diploma and walking the aisle and everything.
So Paul and I
guess that would be getting married though.
Paul and I shot some, it was bonus balls, but I believe it was APX made bonus balls. That was 687 bore.
Well, bonus ball is
8789,
right? So
yeah. Shot nice. Shot real nice. The orange one.
Yeah.
I like that.
And that was what he sells as his lower end. Well, not lower end, but it's not his tournament grade paint. But like it was 689.
Yeah.
So
you could shoot a stock barrel with it.
Regnick just asked, "Hey, what's the holdup on shipping?" Because he ordered an autococker frame, and I actually refunded you for that, and I sent you an email. So send me an email, Regnick, if you didn't get that, because that frame sold on eBay. So get in touch with me. And then I also want to say, Andy wrote, "Nobody has working Novas." Just kidding.
The Novas work as well as the Brass Eagle Nightmare.
No, they work better than the Brass Eagle Nightmare.
Well, I had a person try to scam me this week with an e-check on eBay on a $2,500 item. They bought it, e-check come in. "When are you shipping, sir?" I'm like, "I'm not shipping until your e-check clears," and of course it didn't clear. I had to give them a strike.
How did it not clear? What's the process of that?
Well, it's in there and it says its processing should take 3 to 5 days, and then I think it was after 5 days it said the bank canceled or couldn't fulfill the person's e-check payment, so they're gonna try again. And I was like, I messaged them like, "Can you just like cancel your payment so I don't have to do a strike for non-payment or, you know, get you kicked for being a scammer?" And I got no response. I had to call up, but I'd rather, I mean, that's not a big deal. I just had to relist it. I'm happy I didn't get scammed.
What is this? Epic faultless is better. Epic.
The Ice Epic?
Yeah.
Why don't you show that on your screen if it's... So Paul right now is looking in one of the magazines and he saw the Ice Epic, which was a boltless paintball gun.
How do you even do that? It's just straight up just air pressure?
So they were saying the trap door, it had a couple trap door systems. One, the trap door would open and it would let a ball down, and then instead of a bolt popping out and shooting the air out, you just had a trap door that would lift up and release the air and then drop back down and repressurize. It's been a while since I've shot one, but it was a really compact and nice feeling gun.
I love shooting. I had a couple Ice Epics, and I sold the vert feed. The vert feeds one were like an offset vert feed, and I sold those. Right. But I kept a right feed one because the problem that I had with it was, I don't know how, it's like the rear chamber overpressurized and it actually bent it a little. And then after that, every time you would shoot and that dump chamber would pressurize and depressurize, it would actually go like this. Because the back screw hole was warped. So
it wouldn't get enough velocity, basically, right?
No, it would get enough velocity, but it's just like I don't know, it was like a failure point of that particular one. I didn't have that happen to any others. But I don't know.
Yeah,
not ideal.
It was supposed to be impossible for it to chop. Like, I remember that was something they advertised, like, no bolts, so you're not gonna chop.
That right there too. Ice Epic. Yeah.
Yeah. Not really big enough for them to see, but you're not gonna chop with this, and it's got good air efficiency, etc. I was like super happy, and I chopped like 25 balls in, and I was like, there's no bolt just to take out, so you need to take out the trap doors and clean this and that, and it was a pain in the ass, but I wanted it to work because it was...
I never had chops with mine.
To me back then, it was like the Invert Mini. It was so small, so balanced.
So small for sure.
So light.
I mean, I thought mine shot great, but dumping that valve, I don't know if mine was overpressure. I mean, it was one of them was obviously overpressurized because it bent the whole back valve. But oh, Jake says Ice Epics. I did find some seals, Jake. Although I don't know at what point I found them, but I'll have to look again.
There's not a Timmy in this whole magazine.
Well, sorry about that.
Should be.
I am for sure.
I didn't finally get to a consensus of what is the best CO2 gun. Mayo 2. November 01. Let's see.
Benji, do you have an E1 frame that you need to sell?
E1?
Yeah.
I can probably put one together. I have an E1 board and
Okay.
frame.
So, Regnick, we'll see if Benji can put one together, and I'll talk to him about that. Ted says, does Bocci own a Rudy Dean? I've never had a Rudy Dean autococker, Ted, but I did buy some other guns from Rudy Dean.
What Rudy Dean guns have you gotten?
Well, they weren't guns he made. They were other guns that he was selling. Off the top of my head, I can't remember what I bought from him. I know I bought a bunch of autococker parts, but there was nothing really Rudy Dean related in there.
You guys want to hear something about the Ripper 1 that I found on PBDnA?
Yeah, let's hear it.
The Ripper 1 Intimidator was the first of a new generation of custom ultra high-end paintball markers. Only 250 were ever made, and over time, many bodies have been ruined, discarded, and just plain lost. The markers were based off of Bob Long's classic Intimidator platform and were designed and produced by Jim Eaton, who also designed all other Ripper markers since then, Ripper 2 and above, Ripper Angel, etc. Since these markers are now collector's items, it is rare to see one sold with the original parts on them. Most have been upgraded and made over with the latest and greatest parts on the market, keeping them modern.
What do you got there?
It's just a Shock Tech hookup.
The hookup. You got the hookup?
Yeah. So I guess we got the numbers. 250.
But a lot have been destroyed for sure.
I agree with
Bocci
that.
doesn't believe that, but
Connor or Jorge needs his cap gun fixed.
Yeah.
Does Paintball Tech work on cap guns? Don't know, Jorge.
So Daniel says he has an Ice Epic and a ton of parts and seals, so he needs to get it up going. You do, and you know what? I want another Ice Epic because maybe I just was too young to have the patience to get it tuned right.
And I did not like rebuilding them, the ones that I had.
Yeah, I had a couple full setups with different size trapdoors, and I should have gotten it up and running. But you wanna show off your other 2 TNC bodies, or your 3, which are all like slightly different?
Yeah, dude.
Okay. Is the GoPro on? Is the GoPro working?
Yes.
Is it working? Using my hand. All right. You guys can talk about it. Can you see it okay? You know what? I'm gonna go get my other lights. This is too dark.
Alright, so Dan's gonna go get some new lights. He has some really cool bodies by TNC here, which kind of look like a cross between a Free Flow Fulcrum and, what were we saying, Paul? The A&S bodies?
Yeah.
It's like a mix between a Free Flow and A&S body, and he's got 3 different ones, which are all slightly different with a little bit more milled off, a little bit more milled off, and they're really, really nice, unique looking bodies. But in the meantime, if anybody knows what this is, who made this cocker, I will straight up, I'll give a Jeff box or something if I can find out who made this and actually settle it. Because I've asked
Who did
on
you
all
get
the
that from?
forums. Got that from Craigie.
Craigie, who played on GBD. and
Played on
Fatal
GBD, Fatal Swoop, Rockstar.
Okay.
I played on Fatal Swoop.
Yeah, you're a scrub though.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Here, why don't you talk about this?
Black Proteus.
Oh, this is Connor's favorite. The anus, the one and only anus plug.
Oh man.
Where did you find this?
I bought it off somebody on M. Carter Brown.
OG SFL right here, Paul.
Ooh, that's nice.
The Ferrari of custom autocockers. Danny Love, airsmith extraordinaire of Team Aftershock. Put together every SFL by hand.
By the way, that body's already sold, guys, so don't even try.
You're right.
Is that the bubble or the gothic?
Gothic.
Not for sale.
Not for sale ever.
Until we get it.
My, you gotta resize my GoPro, Paul.
It's too big.
Too big. Benji's head is too big. Oh, it's good actually when you're not standing there. Read us some comments as I'm doing this.
Here, Dan, can you show my cocker's body there real quick? So
Wish I
guys,
could
so
tell
here.
you who did that milling.
No,
It's
do it on the
not
GoPro.
Me, just as curious, and I think Rennick's talking about Benji's autococker.
Okay, so I'm going to show Benji's autococker in a minute, but the unique thing about this is it's a WGP body with a pressed in sleeve right here, and the sleeve is threaded for angel feed neck.
Phil
So
wants to see it on the GoPro. So,
and it's threaded all the way down into the feed neck, which is weird.
I mean, I don't think it's. I mean, yeah, I guess you could say it's a low feed for sure. Yeah, I mean the piece that's sleeved in is threaded, so they obviously sleeved it and then they pushed it in. I would imagine. But you can see it's two different pieces, and it was most likely anodized. It was pushed in before anodizing, so it's just a neat modification that I haven't seen before.
Ted Ott says it's a Gadberry body.
No, it's not. I don't think it's. I don't think it's one of Dirk's bodies, but nice try, Ted.
We have a guy here, his name is Jorge. He says he wants to know about these autococker bodies he has. He has got 30 similar ones that all have this $sign on the top. I think
Okay.
they're probably ex-rentals.
Jesse McCain made those. That was word on Instagram, Jorge. So
See, I wanted to ask you more about that because you've been looking for who created the $sign bodies for months now.
Yeah.
So who was Jesse?
Okay, I'll bring up the comment.
Are
after I
they,
screw this in.
You
It
know,
sounds
now that
like
we know
someone that-
Jesse built them, is that cool? Is that like Danny
No.
Love building them, or who is Jesse?
Well, we got to get more of Jesse's story. Let me get my phone and I'll look in.
Phil Shannon thinks that body is a homemade custom one-off.
Could be.
And Rennick says, "Are you sure the milling is really out there?"
Do you know where my phone is?
I think that it's done pretty well, other than the last bit of hand milling. I don't think it's just a custom home body, or if it was someone with some serious skill. But then I don't know if is the GoPro still on?
Yes.
So if you look at the back beaver tail right there, it is extremely similar to some of the dark beaver tails. Well, more it just looks like devil horns. But that's also done well with a little snatch grip. And then the cuts on the body are done just really nicely. It's not like someone was hand carving the whole thing, although they did do the end here. And also the sight rail on the back here looked a lot like some of the TNC sight rail cuts, but Dan just asked
Chris.
Dan asked Chris, and he said it wasn't his. So
Okay, so on the money sign autocockers, that's both the red one that I posted videos of a while ago and the one I just posted earlier this week or last week, was done by Jesse McClain. And let's see.
who is Jesse McClain?
this guy on Instagram, BobaFat_Al, says, those bodies were definitely machined by him. I specifically remember both of these. And then let me find, because someone else had commented what teams he played on. Mike Bretto, who is friends with Jeff, or who's followed by Jeff Quitman and Fight Life, says...
Mike Bretto?
Yeah,
That's
Mike Bretto.
Time Bomb from PB Nation.
Yeah, he says, pretty sure a kid named Jesse made these. He played Pan Ams for an old Camp Pendleton team.
May you
And
see what
then-
picture you guys are talking about?
What, gun or?
Yeah, what gun?
I'll show you in a sec. Or I'll show you now, actually. You remember these?
Oh, yeah.
So, and he says...
Money coppers.
Yeah, Money Cockers. He says,
Man, the
The
Splat
kid-
Revenge cockers with the water splash are
Yeah, they're
freaking
sick.
gorgeous.
So he says Jesse worked at a machine shop and did these for fun. He was friends with Gator and Rusty. He had curly red hair. And then BobaFat_Al or BobaFat_Al writes, I think he played on one of the junior sitting duck squads. He played with us on HK a bit during the 10-man days. I may still have his phone number. He lived in Escondido. So that's the history on those autocockers.
Cool.
Yeah.
So he was an HK guy. That's cool.
I guess loosely associated with HK.
10-man HK.
Yeah. So,
That's back when HK. Someone, when I used to go to a shop called Paintball Ace, he told me like how HK started. I don't really remember because I was so young when he told me, but it started as a group at SE Village to buy cheaper autocockers, autococker parts.
Well, it was supposedly Hostile Kids, which was a squad of Hostile Takeover. That's what Gilly has said. So
Okay.
Gilly played on Hostile Takeover.
And did that squad start up mainly because of autocockers or something?
I don't know. You'd have to ask Gilly.
All right, Dan, in this magazine I found an advertisement for 2K1 Classics. But then I saw a shot of
Oh, yeah.
one of the Warped kids. Yeah. Warped kids shooting a 2001
Is
Ripper.
that red?
That's blasphemy. A work kid's shooting a freaking Timmy. They're supposed to be shooting angels.
Back then, I guess they had
They were
already come
all-
out with the Dark Angels and stuff. So yeah, probably.
Man,
But those are
Okay.
cool.
You got some... Oh, I guess this is just our feed from Gilly. Read what Gilly says about
All right,
Craigie.
Gilly says, ask Craigie.
I'm going to have some of your gold bears.
Okay, he used to manage a store for Jed Burns in the AV. When Swoop was going strong, a guy named Dan did a lot of their teching regarding Benji's cocker. I asked Craigie if he knew who made the cocker. He said he had no idea, but I will ask him to ask Dan.
All right, Gilly's dropping some knowledge. He says...
Yeah, Gilly
He
says...
says one of these times I'll have to come on your show and give the whole HK/hostile TKO connection. Let's do it, Gilly.
I want to hear
Yeah,
it. So
come on,
Gilly,
Gilly.
you
You
let
gotta
us
hear that.
you let us know when you're available.
I would love to hear that.
Definitely have you come on.
All right, we got... let's see.
Mike Banks asked, is Castle still around?
Tasso is not around.
No, but a lot of their goodies still are. And we have been in touch with both Bud and Catfish, and those shows are coming up soon along with our Automag show. So look for a really good summer
We got a
batch of
comment
summer streams.
comment from this guy named Solar. He says, thinking about switching to airsoft. Any suggestions on converting my mechs to airsoft? I don't know. Solar. But yeah, you should definitely do it because you're definitely a scrub.
Solar and I were battling a lot last week at Ambush, constantly finding ourselves on other teams and needing to shoot each other. And then he ganked Paul hard in the butt.
Yep.
So Gabriel Lopez, if you want a 50-round loader, you gotta just buy one from PaintBall.dna. I think you can get them off
You need
eBay.
to buy some off PVC, make some off PVC. So yes, Laura and I were battling back and forth a lot, and then he was in the corner on one game and I was at the center 50, and we're shooting at each other, and he had been popping in and out. I was popping just top and bottom, shooting off the side of a container. And then eventually we both kind of just stuck out, and we're like, we're not hitting each other. Let's just keep shooting. And like we missed 2 or 3 shots at each other, and then shot a ball out of midair going towards each other. And that popped, and I was like, oh crap, a little too close for comfort. But I think I've only shot a ball out of the air that I can remember like 3 times in my paintball history.
So now 4 or
it was
now
cool.
3?
I think that made 3.
Yeah. Gilly says Dan, and that's the guy who was at Jed Burns' store, was known for red guns. And
cool.
Ted says hard in the butt, Benji 2018. That's a good slogan for him, Ted. Okay, Mike Banks says, I've got an old level 7 mag. Where do I go to get upgrades besides AGD? Well, you don't need any upgrades because it's a mag. There you go. Or you could buy some AGD parts from PaintBall.dna.
What do you really need to do to upgrade a mag?
Dude, you got to get that sweet printed Z-frame. I guess you're not printing those, but you'll make your own frame soon.
Those are cool.
PaintBall.dna is coming out with a mag frame soon. Next month, I think.
Yeah, you don't gotta upgrade much in a mag. A standard single frame with some hoe grips.
Regnick says, Mike,
Settled.
Tuna Mart. Is Tuna Mart still online?
Maybe a CP4 grip,
Tuna
gas
Man
through.
Auto mag parts.
A nice barrel. I really like, if you're using old mag barrels, to use the wire detent, not the plastic one.
Tuna Mart. You can still get mag parts from Tuna Man. So tunamart.com. Also, Jake, who is posting on the YouTube or on the Facebook stream, sells a lot of parts. I have a lot of broken pieces and old O-rings that are degrading on Bocce Paintball. There's a ton of Facebook groups. Yeah, Ted Ott says cocker threaded body, the ULE body, or is it ULE, because ULT is ultralight trigger. Yeah.
You think there would be any reason not to 3D print a mag body?
Yeah, because you have your bolt. Well, I guess you would have to have that. I don't know. I'm not the person to ask about that. You should ask someone more technical, like paintballtech.com.
All I'm going to say is I 3D printed a barrel back this week, and it worked.
Not for long, though.
I shot it yesterday with Paul.
Ripped.
I shot it yesterday.
It ripped open?
No,
So,
it worked really well.
Oh.
nothing 100% set in stone yet, but basically, I don't know who's seen the twisted pump kits we've been making for the Phantom, but it's going to be that freak board that'll take a freak front. So
do you really have enough room to do the twisted pattern and be able to put a freak insert inside?
that's where the prototyping is going to be.
Okay.
The inside isn't going to be an issue. I just need to figure out how big I can make the outside without it, messing with...
Jake says safety issue. Jake, are you talking
pneumatics.
about the freak or are you talking about the mag body? I think he's talking about the mag
body. Yeah.
Regnick says you need a steel ring to protect the mag body. Solar says...
As far as the barrel, it actually worked. It wasn't really too tough. And if I can't do the swirl, I can just do a circular pattern with some designs on it. But I couldn't believe it actually worked, and it threaded on without too much effort.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool. So Solar says, where is PBDnA playing this weekend? We're going to be at Combat tomorrow morning. Be there, be square, Solar.
Bring your CO2 stuff.
It's a CO2 game. Bring your airsoft. I think your airsoft runs off CO2 now, right? Andy says, mags have a ton of bolt force. 3D printed bodies work, but they tend to flake apart after a while. Just like Benji, he flakes after a while. And
'Cause I'm a ginger, and the sun really fucks me up.
Not as bad as my face, though. My face just flakes apart like completely after 10 minutes. So Mike Banks says, thanks, guys. I love my mag. It's been almost 15 years since I've shot it. Well,
yeah.
I mean, really all you need are some O-rings then.
O-rings and some drops of oil.
Yeah.
I tried using one that hadn't been shot for 15 years yesterday, and it was not good. I took the valve out, and it was just, bone dry. Put some oil in there and actually got it to shoot a little bit, but it was sputtering and acting funny, so it didn't really work. But I'm definitely going to use a mag tomorrow and shoot a whole bunch of guys using cockers. If anybody watching is going to be at combat tomorrow and you have an extra anti-siphon tank, bring it for me.
No one's using anti-siphon tanks. No one's going to bring you one. Plus, anyone who has one, it's probably out of date and you can't get them filled, so... Okay, here we go. We got an interesting comment from Nick.
Daniel says, just 3D print the body. Safety is for airsoft.
You could use SLS metal 3D printing to make a mag body, but that would be expensive. Yeah, I guess once you have your design...
That defeats the purpose.
Yeah, but once you have your design, you could put on shapeways and get it printed there, right? They will 3D print it in whatever the metal material is. Okay, let's see. What's the next thing we want to talk about? We have these Nelspots here. Do you have a Nelspot? No? I thought I had 2 of them. Here we go.
And give me one tick. Swap. You also got your Mac 10. Mod 85.
Mod 85. So we got a couple Nelspots. I got these off eBay a while ago, and I was thinking Benji and I could do like a dueling video with these. This one's a little bent in, so we'll have to kind of bang it out with a hammer because it's...
Well, tomorrow we're going to be trying to stream at combat.
I don't think our reception will be very good, so I don't think it'll work.
Yeah, we'll definitely take video, but we'll try to do some live stream. But it's going to be an all CO2 day, and I guess a bunch of people are bringing PGP, so we might have a, 15, 16 person PGP game. So I'm excited for that.
I mean, I think a lot of SoCal stock people have PGPs. I guess I better bring seals, huh? Because probably...
Yeah, I can bring my extra seals also, but I'm going to bring like...
Do you have seals?
7 or 8. Yeah, I just got to get them out of my drawer, but I think I have 10 seal kits for PGPs.
Oh, wow.
Because I got them with that big lot of PGs that I didn't fix all of them.
So these Nelspots have the battle grips, they have the black plastic pump handle, they have bars or a stopper inside of the upper tube to prevent balls from rolling forward into this front portion. They take tubes loaded in the back right here. This one has screws on the side because it had a wire stock on it, which I took off because those are for scrubs.
So where'd you get these?
I think I got them off eBay like 6 months ago or something. This one has, like I said, battle grips. They also have speed wheels. Personally, I don't like 12 gram in grip. I think it's too problematic because your seal has a tendency to fall out. And I don't know, I'm just not a fan of it. So I usually always do back bottle, but these are already set up with speed wheels, so we'll try them like that. Looking at this one.
Have you tested these?
No. What do you think? I'm going to test them before we're going to try them? No way, dude. They also have the barrel extensions, which are pretty neat. Gives you about 6 more shots. I'm just making that up. There we go. That's how it comes out.
All right, you can use that one.
Yeah, this one doesn't have the bent feed tube piece, so it'll actually feed. So yeah,
you're done. You are
this
done.
Barrel is completely corroded. We also have the Mod 85 here. Paul, what are you doing? Are you just looking for deals on eBay right now?
Yeah.
So we have a Mod 85 here, and I bought this from a local guy last week.
How do you know?
Because you're not talking to us, so that means you're trying to scoop up some deals.
That's why we've been streaming, so Paul can buy guns while you guys are watching us.
Yeah, so here's the Mod 85. I don't know if this is the semi-automatic or the fully automatic. I can't remember how to check. It does. I don't really know, but yeah, here's the... Is this the clip or the magazine? This is the clip, right? I can never... No, this is the magazine. I can never get it right. So the Mod 85 was actually built in, I believe, 1985, which is why it's called the Mod 85. And it shoots paintballs out of a plastic shell. If you're shooting an actual firearm, you would have a cartridge in a brass shell, or I guess that would be the actual cartridge would be. What are you doing over there? Breaking stuff? Mm-hmm. But on these you have the plastic cartridge with the primer and then the paintball in the end. So there is a video of Weltman getting lit up by them on YouTube. And it's pretty entertaining. It looks extremely painful. We've talked about it before when Weltman was here.
So I know that those shot like 440. Could you fill it with less primer and have it shoot slower?
Well, primer is different than gunpowder, so I don't think there's actually any gunpowder in them. I think it's just the primer that expels the paintball, but I don't necessarily know. I've never reloaded these, or anything for that matter. But
yeah, we have a lot more mag talk. Nick was saying that stick level 10 in your mag if you're having trouble with breaking paint, but everything else is just personal preference. I don't even think level 10 is necessary.
is it? It might be.
I have a pair of ordnance 1911.
Could be. It's I don't know when.
Canadian.
Yeah, they are Canadian. It's the same pair of ordnance for sure.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
my favorite. Mag in that one.
Oh, nice. Blap blap.
I never needed to make paintball stuff.
Yeah, 1985.
Dang.
So here we have a.
Smart guy.
This is the October 1987 issue of Action Pursuit Games.
Oh man, look at the guy on the front.
Yeah, he's ready for it. So Rosette's going to be back at 9:30, so we're going to end at 9. So we got 13 more minutes. Yeah, so it has a pretty cool cover. This is like a very cool staged cover, and the guys are shooting First Generation Annihilator. Two of the guys are shooting First Generation Annihilators, and one of the guys has a very early Carter comp. But on page 44, there's a picture of Tim McMurray, and he has one of the Master Blaster elevator guns, and that's actually the one that he sold to me right there. So I just thought that's kind of cool. It's pictured in that magazine. There's also a Pursuit pistol and an Avenger. The Avenger is it's not rebarreled, it's just direct feed converted. You want to switch spots, Paul?
Sure. And no, Connor, I don't think Joey's World Tour could beat me in paintball.
What about in Overwatch?
Maybe.
World Tour beat him in Overwatch?
Maybe.
All right.
Do you guys eat sugarless gummy bears?
Are those sugarless?
No.
I just had some. They're pretty good. All right, we have a good comment here from Regnick. He says, Para-Ordnance were Canadian. They got bought out by Cerebus?
What is Cerberus? I heard of that company before.
It must be another firearms company. Closed the Canada plant and are U.S. made these days.
Well, they definitely don't make Mod 85s anymore.
Ted says, if you say you don't need level 10, then you obviously have never shot a mag. I love level 10. Andy says, man, I threw out all of those APGs after leaving school. Whoa,
Oh my gosh.
Regnick says,
All I know is I almost never chop.
Scrub.
Very, very rarely chop with my level 7 mag, and on the level 10, I've just had more issues with just keeping them tuned perfectly. Like, sure, it won't chop, but you know, it'll chuff when it doesn't chop and go back and not reset as well. And I don't know. I've tried a lot of mags, and the level 7s just seem to never have an issue.
Our quality, even though we're 1080, looks like shit. Oh, maybe it's okay? Let me see. It's actually playing. No, it doesn't look great. We need to bump our bitrate. And also, I still have pre-shows showing.
Come on, Dan.
I know. No longer the pre-show. This is almost the end of the show. Okay, so I want to read a couple more comments. But my computer is too slow. So let's see what we got.
Come on, Dan.
All right, we got I'm going to just read some off the side of the screen, then I'm going to backtrack a little bit. But Benji, Andy says, but Benji, how do you stick your tongue in the mag breech? If you're not shooting level 10, that is.
That's right. I only use my gun for paintballing. I don't use it for any sexual satisfaction.
Okay.
Maybe that's a downside. If you want to be able to stick appendages into your paintball gun, definitely get a level 10.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. If you're content using your, couch cushions, you don't need a level 10. Take your dog's teddy bear or something.
Connor wants me to vape through some paintball guns, but have you seen that video of some kids? I think they take a paintball gun to a school or something, like a library, and they're vaping through it. Like, the other guy has his mouth on this side, and a kid has his mouth on this side, and they're like shotgunning the vape.
Through a paintball gun.
Yeah, and it's two dudes, and I'm just like,
it seems weird.
Come over here, Connor. We'll vape through paintball guns together.
Connor, for sure. He's not going to, though, because he's actually busy working a full-time job, unlike us, because we're scrubs. Well, Paul works, but
Scrub
Benji and I are definitely scrubs. Okay, so I don't know what I'm even doing here, but I wanted to read some comments. And
do it then.
John Saywell says, the Avenger was my first paint gun that I purchased, and that's the Mach 1 Avenger, not the Brass Eagle Avenger. And it was an Avenger, as I mentioned a few moments ago, is the rebarreled PMI paint guns, or not rebarreled, sorry, it's the stock class PMI paint guns that McMurray converted to direct feed. And they would also have quick strip slots, and they would have other various McMurray upgrades. Okay, so now, let's see if I can finally read these comments.
So, did you see any new products come out this week?
Oh wait,
that you're itching for?
Jack Wada says the Mod 85 is primer fired only, so no gunpowder. So just wanted to make sure
Alright.
we got that added in.
New products? No, not really.
A lot of people are hyping up the CBOs. I think, like I know that Rick, did Rick get one? Rick Sendeos and Mike Baird. I think they got some, and Dirk Gadberry, I think they all got them from Daryl Trent, because Daryl Trent is Lux, and he is also associated with
Are they now?
I guess, but I think they got those,
so we'll have to ask them their opinion on them and see how they shoot.
I kind of want one too. How much are they?
Well.
I want to say 7-ish.
Yeah, they do look pretty nice, but
I mean, they're shockers, so you wait a year, they'll probably be worth like 200. So
hopefully these have more of myself, but
no, he's totally right. Especially because, you know, these guys tend to get hooked up and then they sell it for cheaper, and then everyone already knows that you can find one on the cheap, and then they drop their prices a little bit. Not smart, but EMAC. That's all you gotta say. Mac Paintball, EMAC.
Okay, I finally got the comments to show on this computer. So, Kevin, he's not talking about the Brass Eagle Avenger. He's talking about the Mach 1 Avenger. Jack says Dan looks like Steve Carell or vice versa.
He's just as awkward.
I'm more awkward.
Steve Carell?
Kevin says potentially the best gun for CO2, or potentially the best CO2 gun. You're gonna have to argue about that, Kevin, but you know, you're entitled to your opinion. So, okay, we have another comment from. All right, I guess that's
all I know is all about the mags. I'm shooting an Automag tomorrow, rocking the Automag shirt. I'll rock my Automag jersey. And you know what? If the CO2 makes my seals burst, I'm going to go out in Automag glory. You won't catch me shooting a cocker tomorrow. Too many cocker dudes have been talking trash.
Ted's talking trash right now. Okay, also we have a question for you, Benji. Are you running a foamy level 7?
No. Using a standard little level 7 bolt with little nose.
Okay, he has the nose.
Stock
bolt.
level 7.
The little nose.
I like the way that one shoots more than the one with the foamy.
He likes it more than the foamy. Okay, well I don't necessarily have an opinion on that because I use the level 10, which has the foamy.
The level 7s with the foamies are definitely rarer to find.
Rarer.
Rarer.
What did you say earlier? You said scarce? Scarce rarer.
Yeah, that's what fancy people say when to say scarce.
Jack Wada said he's bringing in Automag to shoot you with, Benji.
Cool, cool. I'm going to bring a slingshot also and a pocket full of paint, so I'm going to slap a high 5 right on people's backs full of paint. Should be good. But we'll be there bright and early. What?
I just remember I left all the beers in the freezer.
Oh shit.
Dan's out of it today. But,
Paul, do you still want one, Paul?
Sure.
We only have a few minutes left. You want a Tecate, Benji?
yes, please. Sure. So, I didn't bring any printed stuff with me today. Kind of sad, but you'll have to see the stuff that I brought next week.
Oh yeah, Benji gave me something cool. 3D printed, but I'll let you guys.
I don't know if I shook
What
these
did I
up
give
or
you?
what. Something that you would put
Something you
inside
forgot
your
about.
body?
What did I forget about? The,
Benji already
the
forgot
hopper
about
with the too short bottom?
No.
I have shot a Desert Fox. I did like the
You
Desert
did- you
Fox
did
that
give
I
me that
had,
too,
Kevin. I think the Desert Foxes are pretty cool. I wish I
Thanks, Bocci.
I wish I didn't sell mine. But
Cheers.
whatever. I'll get another one eventually.
Tech 8.
Tech 8.
Tech 8.
This literally tastes like barley water.
Tech 8.
Sorry.
I wanted to
Complainers.
say how
tastes
excited
good.
I am for PBSL.
Which is July.
PBSL
1.
is back. July 7th.
Are we
I know
playing
that
that?
the first one is sold out.
Yes, I
The
am.
waitlist people got in?
I think so. You weren't on the wait list, though. I
Yeah, it
searched
was.
for your name.
Yeah, it was.
Did you pay?
They didn't ask me to pay.
I think you were on the wait list then.
I was like number 12 on the waitlist.
Double check
What's the group
Make sure
called?
you're
You
on
gotta
there.
Talk to Dennis.
PBSL Lounge or PBSL SoCal, and I'm excited. They raised the admission rates $5, but there's going to be a bigger pot at the end. But I think this one already has 12 teams.
How many?
Working on
events
getting
are
a
there?
couple more. You know, I don't know how many they have over the whole year, but I gotta say it's gotta be 7 or 8.
Ravnik says you can DIY a foamy tip out of EVA foam.
I don't want the foamy tip.
You can
Try
screw it
the
on
foamy
your
tip.
nose tip. You can
But-
have an extended tip. That's
I
what
don't
you need,
want it.
Benji. Your little tip isn't going to cut it forever. You know, you're going to need that extended tip.
Oh,
I don't know.
nice.
Paul and I yesterday shot.
Paul's just buying stuff on eBay again now.
No. So what number were you on the waitlist? Number 2?
I don't know.
Because I'm number 12. It seems like the first 2 got inserted. I'm number 10, I mean. So there's 8 more people ahead of me, and then maybe I'll get in. I think you were number 2. I saw you up there.
Yeah, after Jeff, probably.
Yeah.
All right, later, John. Take it
Okay,
easy.
yeah, we got to end it. We got 2 minutes until we're RIP'd. Thanks, John.
Okay,
Thanks
cool.
everyone who's watching and everyone who can comment and talk shit about us. We appreciate it. It's always good to hear.
Cool. And we're gonna give some updates early next week about our upcoming streams.
We are, I guess.
That's right.
I
So
probably won't. Benji will. That's why Benji's
no,
here.
we're gonna
He's taking control and he's really getting things together.
We're gonna have to
Getting things
call
going
in-
for us.
we're gonna have to have you call in sick so you can take a break and do some paintball. You've been working
Yeah.
too hard, Dan.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody,
Uh,
thanks for watching. We'll see you at Combat if you're gonna be out there tomorrow. We'll see you next Friday, bright and early, for our next show, and then
Not gonna be bright and early.
it'll be pretty bright and early.
It'll be
Hey, wait, they
maybe-
probably have CO2 tanks at combat, right?
Oh, like rental tanks? Maybe
Yeah.
they're not. Probably not.
Pretty
ASA.
sure their rental tanks are just 3K tanks, but I have heard they fill CO2, so we should be good to go. But yeah, guys, have any guns you want us to bring out of our
Wait, I
collection
do
to
have
talk
some
about?
3.5 ounce tanks. You might
Bring
have-
those.
What's up?
Bring those.
Just let us know.
Yeah.
All right,
Hold on,
later,
give me a
guys.
minute.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching. Paul's cracking the Sandana whip for Rose. There you go, Ted. That's what you wanted. Whoa! Is that on the tip? Don't do that on his foamy tip, Paul. Come on. Oh
Just
wait,
the
no,
tip.
he doesn't have the foamy tip, so it hurts even more.
All right, cut it down.
Okay, let me see if I can figure out how. R.I.P. us.